What's up, guys? This is Genetic Minority bringing you another Monday Night Raw review for the night of April. Jeez. August 24th. I'm losing my mind. August 24th, 2015. Adjusting everything to make sure it's the right. All the circumstances are right around here. Hopefully my mic is being picked up. Anyway, I'll try not to ramble. I'll try not to ramble as much. Raw, man, Raw opens up with Triple H saying he's just doing some stuff. He's showing Seth Rollins the statues that of Andre the Giant and Ultimate Warrior and Bruno Sammartino, and he's just saying Seth is gonna get a statue. Then that's followed by Bork. Brock Lesnar. So for the people who don't know, I'll slip into this and not even think about it. I call Brock Lesnar, for anyone who's not a huge into stuff on the internet, Brock Lesnar. Some guy put up a bunch of videos of Brock Lesnar when he was in, I believe, New Japan, and because Brock Lesnar was named and whatnot and was kind of owned by the WWE, he labeled it Bork Laser. So I always call him Bork for it's just I call Ryback Rybork. I have a ton of for the most part, affectionate terms I use to refer to people. Like I call Dean Ambrose the idiot fringe instead of the lunatic fringe. Or you'll hear that in a minute. And I call Roman Reigns cockfist because he cocks his fist. Shout out to Chase Oliver 68 for coining the name cockfist. But so yeah, Bork comes out. He's with Paul Heyman. He says he's looking for a fight with Taker tonight. But Bork is met by Bo Dallas, who he kills. Rest in peace, Bo Dallas. Maybe he'll get a statue at WWE headquarters. Next, and they're really, and mind you, I'm gonna go back to calling them the new slaves because of what they do is really kind of it's a little bit like a menstrual show. It's like a little racist, but it's a term of endearment now more than a term of. Now I'm just calling them the new slaves anyway. You got the new slaves, the New Day, coming out to face up against the Lucha Dragons in a tag match, and the freaking Xavier Woods comes out with a trumpet, and they start playing I believe it's Frank Sinatra version of New York, New York, and but they've of course called the New Day, New Day, but it's just really funny. Like all on the sideline, Xavier is just playing the trumpet or the trombone. Sorry, if I said trumpet the first time, I meant trombone. And it's just really funny, and their money, and they get the win. But what's more important about this is that when they go to walk away, they get met head on by the Dudley boys. Only two of them. Unfortunately, Spike Dudley couldn't come back. I'm not. That's not sarcasm either. I actually did like Spike Dudley. I think he had one of the best bulldogs ever. The Dudley dog is amazing. Anyway, I did a video about it a long time ago, but it got took down by YouTube and their freaking whoever wants to claim copyright, just let them put it in our b-holes. WWE came and shut it down. I tried to upload 3 different times. Maybe I'll upload it to the Facebook. I think I say that every once in a while. But anyway, they get met by the Dudley boys, who of course take them out and then get in the faces of primetime players. So hopefully they're here to stay and not just be a one-off, a one-off beatdown or a one-off, something to give the New Day some more rep in the tag division, because they're the only people who are over enough as faces to even compete with the New Day, but that's only because they're the Dudley boys. So that was awesome. Next, we get a rematch that Teddy Long booked, mostly because this entire night, if this is a night booked by Teddy Long, there's a ton of tag matches. Actually, I'm thinking about it, I don't think there was not a singles match. There was not one singles match. Every single match tonight was a tag match. Yeah, so this Raw review will be titled the Raw that Teddy Long booked, or the Teddy Long's final Raw booking. I don't know. A Raw booked by Teddy Long is nothing but tag matches. So yeah, we get the rematch of Cockfist Roman Reigns and the Idiot Fringe Dean Ambrose versus the Wyatt family. The match goes as expected, but then all of a sudden the lights go out, and Cockfist and the Idiot Fringe are met by a dude in a black sheep mask who is like 7 feet tall and like probably like 400 pounds, and he just completely takes them out. Just nothing. At first, I thought it was Bull Dempsey, who was a guy down at NXT. He looks very similar, but he's not him. We do find out who he is later, but I'll talk about that when we get there. And that's pretty much the end of that segment. It's this dude coming taking out Roman Reigns and the Idiot Fringe and just leaving. That's it. They just leave. And he left a huge impact at least, and he didn't say a word, so that's kind of cool. He kind of came in like Kane, didn't say a word, just came in with the mask and beat people down. I will say that I wish he kept the mask on. Like, I wish he didn't reveal his face, among other things that happen later. But we'll move past that for now. Next, Miz TV with Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Team, the Submission Sorority, sponsored by Brazzers. They're just out there talking. Miz is trying to stir the pot. And then Team I Wish You Died in the Womb, led by Nikki Bella, to come out and make a mediocre segment even worse because they talk. Then the Miz makes fun of Team sponsored by Brazzers. I'm not even calling them Submission Sorority or PCB. I'm just calling them sponsored by Brazzers because Submission Sorority sounds like the same thing as, like, if anyone who's seen the adult film with Sarah J and adult film, the porn with Sarah J and Christy Mack called The Dorm Invasion. Like, Submission Sorority sounds like something sponsored by, like, Brazzers or Kink. So I'm calling them Team Kink because they call themselves Submission Sorority, and that sounds hot. Team Kink gets in the Miz starts making fun of Team Kink, and they get in his face, but only to get attacked by Team Wish You Died in the Womb, which leads to a 6 Diva tag match, and Team Wish You Died in the Womb won. That's all you need to know about it. The Bellas win. I think Alicia Fox actually got the win. So on Paige, so I guess good for her. We got no Sasha Banks tonight, which there was actually a chant for "We want Sasha" at one point, because and the fans turned on the match, but then again it's Brooklyn, they turn on anything because it's Brooklyn and there are a bunch of savages out there. I'm from New York City, so I can say that. They can say whatever they want about. They're like, for anyone who doesn't know anything about Brooklyn, they're like the slowest to evolution out of anybody. Like, they never evolved past, like, when everyone in New York City, everyone else in New York City stopped wearing saggy pants that were hanging down to almost your kneecap, Brooklyn was like, no, and they kept doing it. That's pretty much them. They're very, like, it takes them a while to catch on to what's going on. Sometimes they get lucky, sometimes they don't. Next, we get, Burger King Barrett is standing in the ring, and he's waiting for Stardust because it's being called that they have a tag match. I don't know against who, but Stardust just beats down Burger King Barrett, kicks him out of the ring, and then he's met by Adrian Neville, who beats him up, and then he runs off. Which is whatever, I don't care. Because I do care that Stardust beat up Burger King Barrett. That was awesome. Next, Jon Stewart comes out and says that he screwed over Cena at SummerSlam because of he wanted to protect Flair's record of 16-time champion. That he couldn't see Cena doing it, especially not up against Seth Rollins. Flair comes out basically to say, and by the way, Declan for anyone who doesn't know, he's the guy who's constantly in my comment section. He's an Irish guy. He said that no one out in Europe, England, and Ireland, where he lives at, knew who Jon Stewart was. He is a big TV star. He's a TV show host, a political TV show host, but he's still a comedian. He's a comedic political show host for 16 years, so almost 20 years. So in America, he's a big deal. Obviously, out there, that's like asking, hey, do you watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? And then you go, yeah, I love Drew Carey. And, everyone knows there was the British version, so, no one knows what you're talking about. Like, you say, like, you instead of having Simon Cowell on, Britain's, instead of America's Got Talent, instead of having like Simon Cowell, you replace it with a bunch of American stars. So it makes sense. I'm not shy to the notion that foreign people don't know who Jon Stewart is. I would think that many more would, but hey, that's you guys. You guys probably have like well, actually, your guys' version of Jon Stewart is Ricky Gervais. If you live out in Europe, or just on the other side of the Atlantic, your Jon Stewart is Ricky Gervais, just like a comedian who is very knowledgeable and comments on a lot of things in politics and the world around them. That's pretty much they're applicably the same guy. Not the same guy. They're applicably the same thing, or the same style. But I don't think Jon Stewart's done stand up in a very long time, whereas Ricky Gervais does. But yeah, Jon Stewart says he comes out. He tells Flair that Ric Flair comes out to tell him that he doesn't need to protect him and that he's okay with Cena breaking his record. It's basically Flair comes out to stroke off Cena because he needs one. And basically to be like, Cena's gonna not only break. He's basically foreshadowing. He's telling people like Cena's not only gonna break my record. He's gonna get. Once again, I'm marking it again. I don't want to hear anyone say that like, oh, I totally called. I am calling this right now. And Chase and I called it probably 4 months ago. Chase specifically called it, and I agreed. So Chase Oliver 68 called it like 4 months ago, and I agreed with it. I actually think it'll be more, but Chase and I called that Cena is going to be a 20-time champ before he retires, and I actually think it'll be more because it really feels like after the whole nose breaking thing and him still showing up anyway, I really feel like he'll be around for so much longer that he will win it more than 20 times. He will probably get to 21. He will win it as long as the Undertaker streak was, so 21 times. I'm calling that right now. I'm changing my bid from 20 to 21. He'll probably do it 22, and he'll probably have a streak like Mania, like Taker. He'll probably have a Mania streak not too far in the future. That's just me, because old man Vince, shout out to Vince McMahon, it's his 70th birthday today. Cena will be around for another 20 years, and so will Vince. But yes, Flair comes out to just approve Cena's future 21 and 1, reign over this as world champion. Then Cena comes out, says a bunch of lies, like how he listens to the people. He doesn't, because if he did, he'd leave. But he listens to the people, and then he FUs. I'm going to say FUs because AA sounds stupid. It makes him sound like he's an alcoholic who needs a lift. Or because his car broke down. He hits him with the FU, the attitude adjustment. He hits him with a fireman's carry. He hits Jon Stewart with a fireman's carry. A pretty solid one, so shout out to Jon Stewart for taking that spot and selling it pretty decently. So, shout out to him. Then Cena just basically says he's gonna come out to mess with Seth's I can't think of words. Seth's ceremony. And next we got Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Orton, and Ryback versus Kevin Owens, Big Show, Sheamus, and Rusev. The faces won. The good guys won. And at the end of the win, saw Big Show accidentally KO Sheamus and Randy Orton get the pin. Kevin Owens and Rusev didn't like that, so they wind up taking down Show, and then Show eats a super kick into a super RKO. He gets lifted up by Cesaro and Ryback, and they drop him into it. It was a kind of botch, but I mean, you really can't do anything about like a 440-pound man being hoisted up in the air, and have to come down on on the mat and not be hurt. So I'm not mad about it. But he gets hit with like a super RKO, which is it's like a kind of cool thing that happened. So that was a thing. I'll make sure I'm not missing anything before I keep talking, because we are getting to the end, and I haven't talked for that long. This is probably one of the shortest reviews ever. There's not much to say. Like, cool stuff happened, but there isn't anything to say about it. It's just kind of a matter of fact, leading towards Night of Champions. This Raw wasn't anything spectacular. Just cool stuff happened. Next, this really annoyed me. We get a backstage segment with Bray Wyatt introducing the guy who came out and took out Rollins and Reigns or Rollins, yeah, Rollins and Reigns. Jeez, the Idiot Fringe and Roman Reigns, and I already knew this because I looked it up afterwards. Because I thought he was Bull Dempsey. But his name is Braun Stowman. That's his in-ring name. I can't remember his real name off the top of my head, but he's a power lifter. He is Bray doesn't say this, but he is a strong man, akin to Mark Henry, except clearly white and a lot taller. But he's it's very similar to similar background to Mark Henry, where he's a strong man, which is why he's like crazy deadlifting Roman and the 88 Fringe. But yeah, he reveals who he is, and he's like he cuts this promo, and it just feels really pointless to me because why? He introduces him as Abigail's black sheep. He could have just introduced him as that. Like, they got Blue Pants down in NXT. There's a chick whose her name is just Blue Pants because the crowd. That's how the crowd called for her. And then they were like, her name is Blue Pants now. I don't know that girl. I don't know who she is, what her name is. I just know that they call her Blue Pants, and that's all I know about her. This guy could have easily just been like, he wore a black sheep mask. Just call him a black sheep. Don't ever show his face. Not ever show his face. Don't show his face. They spoil it by showing his face. He comes out, he takes the mask off. Like, he should have got one of those like Army of Two, or the mask from like Cody Rhodes used to wear when he had the whole broken nose gimmick, the one that's like really got all the like the Rip Hamilton, if anyone who watches basketball, like the you got your nose broken face mask, and just have it clamped to his head so it can't come off, and then like that could have been a thing where it's like, we don't know who this giant guy. First, I thought it was Luke Gallows, honestly, for a minute, because he has the shoulder tattoo and he was wearing pretty much the same outfit. And I was like, man, Luke Gallows is freaking tall. But then no, it wasn't him. But yeah, they introduce. He just spills the beans, and it's just like, there's so much you could have done with never seeing his face. Like, not so much you could have done, but it would have been so much better if you didn't just go, here's a big guy. Like, no one knows who he is. So to have him hidden behind a mask would have been a lot better. Like, no one knew who Kane was, and he was hidden behind the mask for decades. And we were like, I don't know. I wasn't alive for. I don't think I was. I wasn't born yet when Kane first debuted. I don't think. I don't remember when Kane debuted. I think he debuted just before I was born, but not. God, maybe somebody can tell me. Probably Declan. Or I'll ask Chase. But yeah, like, he was in the mask he didn't come out of that mask until, what was that, late 90s, early 2000s, with that whole teaming with Rob Van Dam and losing his mask. So it was just like, why? The dude's wearing the black sheep mask. Like, they hardly ever took Eric Rowan out of his stupid mask. So why do they take this guy out of the mask? Is it supposed to just be like another, once again, Luke Gallows, Festus? Like, when the bell rings, he goes crazy. When he takes the mask off, he goes crazy. It's like, now we don't need Eric Rowan, by the way. So the garbage man can go back to the garbage. But I guess they'll probably bring him back in, because, I mean, why not? If you want to keep him on the roster, why not? So it seemed a lot less special now that you get. I get that he's just some dude, but that's just it. Like, saying his name and showing his face doesn't help him in any way. Why not build this mystique behind him? Who is this dude? Eventually it'll probably get leaked online, but it's still, even if you look up information on this guy, there's barely anything about him. So he's just some 30-year-old dude who was a power lifter, a strongman, and then just showed up in WWE. There's no, he literally just showed up. They've probably been talking with him for a while now, because that's what they do with celebrities, not celebrities, other athletes from other things that want to become wrestlers. Like, they had Droz, who was a football player who decided to join WWE. Unfortunately, he was paralyzed by D'Lo Brown after a botched powerbomb. But like, that's the thing, is like, these guys just show up out of nowhere. So, like, why not build some mystique around them? Why not build, WWE could have did a little something, but that was even, They just rush everything. His introduction tonight was proof that WWE loves to rush things. Like, there's no suspense, no build-up. It's just like, look at this big dude. Oh, he's a big dude. He's crazy. He's killing people. Blah 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 blah. Okay, now look at his face. okay, now here's his whole name. It's like we didn't know anything. Even on his Wikipedia page, somebody had already updated it for him to just be called the guy. And that's the same thing with Blue Pants. Like somebody was just like, her name is Blue Pants. His name's the guy. Like eventually he could, like the fans could have gave him his name, or if they found out his name, you know, anything. They don't give the fans a chance to, because the truth of the matter is, I'm gonna stop ranting and rambling in a little bit. WWE doesn't think we're smart enough to. The fans as a whole, mostly because it's kids, doesn't think that we're smart enough to, you know, or we don't have the attention span to. And yes, social media and things like that. You got stupid stuff like Vine and Instagram, which you put up 7-second videos, 15-second videos, has shortened everyone's attention span, you know, down to the length of a kumquat, but. If you don't know what a kumquat is, just know that it's a disgusting orange, basically. Unless you like them, in which case I don't care if you like them. I think they're disgusting oranges. They're like disgusting orange peach hybrids. They're disgusting. Have you ever seen like the peaches that come from like when you were in school, you know, and lunchtime comes around and they give you those peaches sitting in that weird like gelatinous soup that looks like the stuff that you get off the pan when you're baked turkey, but it looks like, it smells like an orange, and it looks like a peach, and then when you taste it, it tastes like death, and that's a kumquat, in a nutshell. But yes, this guy's introduction was very indicative of how WWE handles things. They don't think we're smart enough to handle, like, you know, like, as if like movies aren't popular. Like we can't, you know, and movies do the same thing too. Is like we can't handle a 3-act structure of like conflict rising to the climax, and then, you know, the natural 3-act progression. It's just like they have to just throw everything in our face and make it as simplified as possible. That's why when characters come up from NXT, I always worry that they're gonna like look at. Granted, the Ascension were never really a great tag team, but they were at least popular down at NXT. But then they dumped them down, and, or, you know, took away some of their intensity, and you know, and the no offense to Florida, but it's Florida. Worldwide fans are a little bit smarter. If anyone who's like, you don't know anything about America, you know that Florida is like the place where everyone's like, everything sucks in Florida. You know, they botched up an election. You know, they killing kids in the streets. You know, they have laws where you can kill somebody if you're at a bar fight. Like Declan, if you're in, because this is the only person that responds to me, so I talk to Declan directly, basically. Declan, if you and I were in a bar fight down in Florida, like I'm a citizen of Florida, you just came, and you and I get in a bar fight, I could shoot you according to the laws of Florida. That's pretty much how it works. That gives you anyone who doesn't know anything about Florida. There is a law that basically makes it so that if you and I get into a bar fight, even if I caused it by hitting you over the head with a bottle, if I shoot you, that's cool. It was self-defense. That's how it is. So, whatever. But yeah, WWE thinks we're dumb, and we don't understand things, and we can't handle complex stories and things like that. So, they just, or, you know, the development of a character, so they just throw everything in our face. And, it never works out. You would think that they'd learn, but hey, whatever. Next we get. I'm sorry, Next we get. Cena's in the back talking about how he wants to confront Seth Rollins, but Steph and Triple H have him escorted out, which is great because I'm sick of Cena's face. And they're gonna reveal Seth's statue. Here's the thing, though. You know something's up because they already showed the statue itself to the fans. Like, they showed it on camera, and they just wouldn't let Seth see it, you know, kayfabe-wise. So they put the statue in there, and they show them moving the statue into the ring and how it doesn't, you know, move or anything like that. Like, it's weird. I don't know how they did this. Obviously, it goes to commercial, but I don't know how they do it in the front of the live audience, because obviously it doesn't go to commercial there unless they distracted everybody with a big commercial. Which they do that. Sometimes when there's like a break and you guys get a commercial and we get a commercial on TV, I've been to live events. Those breaks sometimes actually happen in the show. Like, they'll just show the people who at the live show a commercial. It's always WWE related as far as I know. But Seth talks, and, you know, the crowd's kind of behind him, not behind him, because it's weird. Brooklyn, the fickle crowd. You know, he's still a heel, so he always goes the heel route. They go to reveal the statue, and of course, underneath the statue thing is Sting. And Sting attacks Seth and then holds up the WWE World Heavyweight Championship like he's gonna win it. So that's a thing that's happening. You can enjoy the fact that Sting is gonna get a shot and maybe even win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and that Undertaker is gonna retire, losing to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Enjoy those two things to be in your mind. Join me next week for the next Monday Night Raw review. If you liked anything I had to say, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. But if you leave a dislike, please leave a comment as to why. I encourage everyone to discuss amongst themselves in the comment section, but people don't want to do that. Listen, if you're feeling what I'm doing over here, you liking my vibes, just like, comment, and subscribe. Like, dislike. I don't care what you do. Just give me some kind of interaction because I'm desperate and needy. Peace.